All right. Couple of sophomore quarterbacks. Texans take on the Colts, guys. Anthony Richardson looks absolutely fantastic from a fantasy perspective.
Can we start here, Daniel? So Anthony Richardson had, to me, one of the best throws of the day. No, the best throw of the day yesterday. And probably by far. It's just this ridiculous play in which he stumbles. There's pressure from his right side.
Breathing down his neck.
Yeah, and he kind of stumbles and managed to get back up on his feet and throw a basically 66-yard pass in the air on a dot, on a line to Alec Pierce. It was like God went down and dropped the football into Pierce's hands. When you go back and watch the replay on the game film, the ball disappears from the frame, from the end zone. You can't even see it. It's so high in the air, and then it just magically appears in the arms of Alec Pierce. He also had 56 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. So he had 3 total touchdowns yesterday. People need to accept 2 things. We care about fantasy points on this podcast. We don't care about style points all the time. Secondly, just saying that Anthony Richardson's throw yesterday was the best of the day does not mean that he played perfectly. He completed 9 passes. I get that. But if you're looking for reasons to believe why this is a sticky performance, as in it can be repeated time and again, and obviously you're talking to the presidents of the fan club here of Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Yes, he completed 9 passes. He also averaged 12.5 yards per attempt, nearly 4 times as many as Bo Nix and Caleb Williams yesterday. They're bombs away on offense. They want the ball to go down the field. So he may not attempt 40 passes a game, but if he attempts 25 and his yards per attempt, people, is not going to be 12.5. But if it's 9.5, that's going to mean a monster season for Anthony Richardson, because even with Jonathan Taylor, who got his yesterday, he did find the end zone as well, the Colts will not be able to help themselves. We're talking about, this is not exaggerating, one of the most unique athletes we have ever seen in the NFL, regardless of position. That's how effortless he made it look. We're sitting there in the war room yesterday, Stephania, I can't get over this throw, and we're 12 minutes into the game action.
I heard some stat, and I would like to be able to credit it, but I heard a lot of things yesterday, so I can't pull it off the top of my head. But I heard that it was the 3rd longest completion in NFL history, and the other 2 were Hail Marys.
I believe it's, the 3rd most air yards on a pass, which they've been tracking for, I think, close to 20 years.
There you go.
So
the point being that it wasn't a Hail Mary. It was actually a purposeful pass, and that's what we got out of it. So I think that tells you there's more of that to come. Now, it's not going to be every single week, or it might be. I mean, actually, with him, it might be, but it's not going to be every single pass. But I think that's one thing is, we look at a lot of players where we go, you can have a maybe one every few weeks that you might get a big play like that. I think with Anthony Richardson, that's the kind of ceiling potential you have for fantasy every single week. The other significant play for me was when it was 4th and goal, and they gave it to Anthony Richardson and knew that if he didn't get it, that was it. I mean, the game was threatened if he did not make it in, and he took half of the defense of the Texans with him into the end zone, where it looked like anybody else who would have been stopped, and he was able to get it. So his value is through the air, it's on the ground. I think it just underscored some of the things we said in the preseason.
Yeah, Daniel, you said it at the beginning. We're not here to victory lap on Monday of week 2, but the day after week 1. No, but I think our job from the first week is to identify things that we think are real and transferable from one week to the next. And I don't think the teams are going to be able to just say, well, let Anthony Richardson pick us apart as a passer down the field, because I get it. He went 9 for 19. That's 47%. But he also threw for over 200 yards and had 2 touchdowns. So if you just let him beat him with his arm, he might carve you up for 400 passing yards in a game. So he's a very unique player, far from perfect. There's a lot of work to be done, but it's a great scheme with a great coach calling the plays and a very fun offense for fantasy purposes.
I don't know how many quarterbacks could have made that throw with a clean pocket, not having pressure bearing down.
Who else is making it? Josh Allen, probably. Maybe. Patrick Mahomes.
That's it. Yeah.